1-0 at Hampden at half-time in the Scottish Cup final. Airdrie against Celtic. Celtic lead. Incidentally, in the third division playoff final at Wembley, it's Bury 0, Chesterfield 2 at half-time. Tony Lormer and Phil Robinson, the goal scorers. Sandy Clark and Paul Elliott, our guests here this afternoon. We were talking about the lack of opportunities, really. Just two shots or goal attempts from each side, one on target. Jimmy Sanderson got hold of one, but pushed his shot wide. Again, he'll be seeing that time and again, won't he? Good connection, but unfortunately for Airdrie and him, wrong side of that post. Great technique,
yeah. I think Packy Bonner probably had it covered, to be fair, but you hit shots like that, you get a deflection occasionally and it ends up in the back of the net.
That's what they need. 1-0 to Celtic at half-time. Let's rejoin Andy Gray and Martin Tyler.
Thanks, Richard. You rejoin us in the sunshine. Celtic anxious for the second half to begin, and the Airdrie less so.
Well, I think Airdrie will be very anxious. I think out of both dressing rooms, strangely enough, the team who's winning the match would have been the more anxious dressing room, and I think Tommy Burns would have had more to do than Alec MacDonald at half-time. Alec MacDonald's job would, I'm sure, have been a simple one of confirming the belief in his players that they can get a goal back, because the performance was excellent first half, whereas Celtic, I think, have been a little bit off colour, a little bit below par, but it's a cup final, and when you haven't won one for 6 years, you do tend to play on the nerves a bit, but they've got a goal ahead, and he knows if his defenders can keep a clean sheet now, then Paul McStay at long last will get his hands on a piece of silverware.
And Tommy Burns, who's had a turbulent first season as manager of Celtic, might end on a very happy note. Airdrie, who just a little late out for the start of the second half. Get it underway. They're a goal down, but they've taken that on the chin and still come out fighting. And the player, let me remind you, who scored the goal, the Dutchman Pierre van Hooijdonk, had to go off before half-time. Willie Faulkner is on up front for Celtic. Mark McNally, who came in at the 11th hour for Brian O'Neill. Donnelly trying to help the ball on, but committing a foul as he did so. Stewart. Ball in the centre for Airdrie. Black can't find them. Cut out by Grant, who I thought did have an air of some authority in the first 45 minutes. McLaughlin's ball. Jack is the defender, and he was just able to get there before Simon Donnelly. McKinley. Foul by Jack, who, when he's not playing for Airdrie, does follow Celtic very closely. No huge surprise up in this part of the world, where everyone seems to have allegiance, rather, blue or green. Cooper. Boyle battling in, and all 5'6" of them. It's a problem for Airdrie in the shape of their skipper being down on the ground at the moment. But whatever happens here for Airdrie, there's no doubt that Alec MacDonald has done a fantastic job for them to get them this far.
I'm no surprise to see the shape of the side be competitive, Mark, because the one thing Alec MacDonald was as a player, a lot of skill, Alec. He was a real competitor. Always gave, well, 100% and more, and typically that's what he asks from his players.
Well, the battle plan is carried out on the pitch for the Airdrie management by Jimmy Sanderson. I'll hope he's back on his feet very quickly. Well, Celtic full of celebratory noise at the moment, but there's still a bit to go through, you feel, before the celebrations can be complete. Yeah, Van Hooijdonk. Now only in the role of auxiliary supporter down on the bench. Well, they won in '89, their last trophy by 1-0 from Joe Miller, who's here today as a special guest of Celtic. Of course, he's still playing for Aberdeen and has done very well in Aberdeen's revival over the last few weeks. Collins. Here's Vata. Can stay making a move outside him.
That's where they've been disappointing, Celtic, in the last third, the final pass in particular. They really haven't posed a great deal of threat.
Grant coming through that test against Andy Smith. Donnelly guided it up cleverly on the chest. Link up with McLaughlin. Donnelly, who really exploded onto the scene at the end of last season. Faulkner. Grant supporting him. Collins. Well, the header deserved perhaps some support. It didn't really get any. Collins picked out Faulkner straight away with the driven ball into the Airdrie penalty area. Alley there before Lawrence. Key phase of the game, you feel this. If Celtic can strike for a second time at the beginning of the second half, as they did early in the first, well, you do feel it would be beyond the redress of Airdrie. Jack through the back. And for a referee who works closely with FIFA and UEFA as well as the Scottish FA, it is a booking. Whereas Mottram shows the card.
Yeah, the key is that he doesn't get any contact with the ball. You can see the referee, what, 3 or 4 yards away? No argument with that decision. Collins.
Needed a touch. John Martin Felt might just have carried on over, and the goalkeeper understandably wasn't prepared to take that risk.
Yeah, and I thought like you, this was drifting over and not really troubling anything, but the space behind him. But goalkeepers have got to be sure.
Celtic short corner. Foul on Boyle. John Collins has been in good scoring form, not just for Celtic this season, but also for Scotland as well. Well, Paul Harvey is coming off. That would suggest an injury. And on comes Anthony Smith. Try and get some news for you on the reason behind that change. Collins. Good ball back from Donnelly. Play on Paul Jack. Saw off the danger. He was born in Malaya, the son of a regular soldier. And he needed to...
Nice 1-2.
Find some of the discipline that I'm sure his father's injected into him to deal with that, Paul Jack.
Tommy Burns will get a little happier at the opening of the second half, because his team have certainly started brighter, more positive in their attitude.
Cross from Lawrence. Anthony Smith is there, the two Smiths unrelated.
They'd rather got in each other's way at the edge of the box.
views from the Airdrie bench is that the substitution was purely tactical. Try and maybe now bypass the midfield area, which Harvey not found it easy to make a regular contribution, and to get the second Smith to support up front. And he does incidentally prefer to be called Anthony rather than Tony. Grant. That's a useful ball in behind Airdrie. Pursued by Faulkner successfully. Collins comes in! Well, it was a golden opportunity, a spectacular dive. There was no one with him.
Well, I don't know what Jimmy Boyle was thinking about here. He just turns almost away from the ball. It's a great ball in from Faulkner because he only had Collins' support, but Boyle turned away from it. Left Collins to come in. And I've seen John Collins bury quite a few headers in his time. Not the biggest, but he's normally a good head. Look at the way Boyle just backs away from it. Well, that's only a couple of feet away from giving Celtic, well, what they would prove, really proved to be a decisive second goal.
I thought you were going to say give them the cup, because I think probably in this position that may well be the outcome, but it's still 1-0. Airdrie's ambition will not be squashed at this stage. To see him back on his feet quickly, Alan Lawrence, particularly in the first half, well, the liveliest attacker on view, really.
But I feel a little bit for Alan McDonald, Mark, because he wouldn't have wanted the half-time whistle. His team were really in dominating form. This is a challenge here with Lawrence, and it just lands awkwardly. But he wouldn't have wanted half-time to come. He would have loved the game to have gone on because his team were playing well, were playing with confidence. Celtic were nervy. Now, half-time, Tommy Burns has done his business. And his team have come out brighter, sharper, and really Alec McDonald's team haven't really picked it up in the second half the way they did in the first.
Alec McDonald with plenty of medals of his own, of course, from a successful playing career with Rangers. Wondering whether his team can get winners' medals here. They can do. They've got to find 2 goals from somewhere. Even been winning the free kicks in midfield in the second half to get that aerial bombardment going again, which looked potentially profitable for them in the first half. It's been a more stable Celtic performance, although they concede a free kick here, shoved by Faulkner. Anthony Smith. Stay with a cultured touch. Grant wasn't much help alongside him. He's done very well to hang on and keep Celtic in possession. Stay thoughtfully again up to Donnelly. McKinley. That's the way Celtic would like to play. Airdrie have given them very few opportunities to stroke the ball around like that. Faulkner. Celtic ball. Donnelly. It's Andy Smith's long ball. Well reclaimed by Batter from Anthony Smith, and as Airdrie try and adopt a more forward-minded approach in pursuit of an equaliser, 1 or 2 signs that Celtic might find some space here. And of course, the game's effort's not being held by 1 or 2 injuries at the moment.
The game's definitely spreading as we approach Yellow Mark. Airdrie do put so much into the way they play, so much physical. There's so much physical about their game that they do expand a lot of energy, and you know there's going to be a time when 1 or 2 start to feel it. But they've controlled the second half, Celtic, and I think that's important for them. I didn't think they had the control of the game, didn't control the football enough in the first half. But I certainly think if you approach 15 minutes this half, they've controlled the game. They've dictated the pace, they've had possession for the majority of the time. And Airdrie found it really, really hard to get that head of steam up that they had first half. This was good play. Watch the way he keeps the ball away from players. Look at that. On his outside of his right foot, not letting the player near it. That was super play.
And Peter Grant, Celtic through and through, as you all know, and showing no ill effects from the knee injury that put his place in this final in such doubt. You can see why Tommy Burns was prepared to wait for Grant's recovery. Didn't expect it, but it's happened, and it's been a cornerstone of this Celtic performance so far. Whether it's going to be a winning performance, we still must wait and see. That's one of our microphones perhaps put out of commission for a little while.
That deserved a book in that challenge. Look at that microphone. It's out the game.
I expect we'll find a substitute. Donnelly. This is Stewart.
Well, he was going down a cul-de-sac there, Stewart. I think it was just a case of going over rather than anything promised they did. But for the first time in the half, it gives them a chance to put some pressure on, to put a ball into the 18-yard box.
Airdrie, let me remind you, won the semi-final with a header from Cooper. Oh, and Bonner's touched in, and one or two of the Airdrie players had given it up, thinking the delivery was too long. The goalkeeper wasn't aware that it was too long. Had he been so, he could have let it go harmlessly behind.
Yeah, he did get underneath it, but the sun is almost in his eyes coming from that angle. It may have affected him.
Boyle. Feels the handball by McKinley. Lawrence, who had the best view of it, feels that Airdrie were hard done by. The better serve, keeping his mind on the game. The ball actually came back pretty close towards him and he wasn't ready for it. Boyle. Touched on by Anthony Smith. Andy Smith trying to get there. Well, if after 6 years a trophy is going to come Celtic's way, it's not coming here easily. Taking the lead inside the opening 10 minutes. Scene set perhaps for a performance of some poise. But it hasn't developed that way, and Airdrie is still in here scrapping. Andy Smith. Well, a year ago, Pat Bonner wouldn't have expected to be playing for Celtic. He'd been given a free transfer by Lou Macari. It looked as though he was going to Kilmarnock, where the manager then was a certain Tommy Burns. They worked it out between them, decided to work together at a different club. McLaughlin. It was charged down well by McStay. Black did get the ball, but he certainly went in with aggressive intent. There's Mottram, who did book him in the first half. Quite a long way away from the incident.
Let's just say he made his mind up to take everything there, I think, Kenny Black.
Andy, do you think the longer we go on, the more Celtic might get anxious? That so
perhaps,
close?
yeah, I think as the point I was making right at the top, Mark, only 4 players there who know what it takes to win a trophy. And the other 7, it's new ground for them. and they may start to get a little anxious. They certainly haven't shown it, I must admit, in the opening 15 minutes. They've looked more composed and more confident since half-time.
Well, there was a very strange incident in the centre circle. The ball took a most extravagant bounce over Peter Grant. He spun round, tried to hook it back over his shoulder, and was flattened by Cooper. It was all accidental, and it's all ended as quickly as it started. McLaughlin. A second for Celtic. Surely their name is on the cup for what would be the 30th time. They have a corner. They've sent McNally forward. But Platter, who has been going up, has stayed back. Both Donnelly and Falconer going for that one. He's hardly featured in the first team this season, Simon Donnelly, and yet he's played in 2 cup finals. Sometimes you're lucky, sometimes you're not.
You bet.
Brian O'Neill will be feeling pretty unlucky this afternoon. Played in the majority of the games. But was hurt in a training accident on Monday, twisted knee, and there just wasn't enough time to get it right. Airdrie incidentally have a player suspended, John Davis, who's been doing good work for them in midfield. He was rather unfortunately sent off in a league game. And the suspension carrying into this final. No replay, remember, to think of. It has to be settled today. Airdrie looking for a goal to take the 1995 final, the 110th Scottish Cup final, into extra time. Smith doing his bit. He's nicknamed Cup Tie because he's done so well in the cup matches.
Just getting a little panicky here, but Jimmy Sands in particular has given the ball away 2 or 3 times in the last 5 minutes just by rushing things. You've just got to steady the ship a little bit, not rush into it. They won't believe me, but there is plenty of time left for them.
Celtic songs you're hearing at the moment. Another foul by Black. On McStay. Easy one for Hay to get there in front of Faulkner. Celtic have it back with McStay and McLaughlin. The abrasive Black showing he can play a bit as well. Lawrence, good touch from Anthony Smith for him. Connor rather scraping it away. Hopped on by Collins, good ball from Black. Boyle. Free forward for Airdrie. Slightly misjudged by McKinley. Enough for Lawrence to take it from him. Airdrie had the throw. With the height in their side, really would like the ball to be propelled long here by the short but square-shouldered Jimmy Boyle. Cooper. Only comes to Grant, helps it out of harm's way. Grant's there first again. Collins. Well, there's not a ball that's rolled loose that hasn't been fought for with 100% by either side. And there's no doubt that the odd tackle will get mistimed, and Airdrie grateful for any free kicks to try and bomb the ball into the box. He's lost it, has Bonner. The whistle had gone as Alan Lawrence went in hoping to turn it into what was an unguarded net.
Well, he hasn't been totally convincing today, Paddy Bonner. I mean, certainly gets barged again, but you normally still expect a goalkeeper of his quality to just take them.
Slip there by Tommy Boyd, who's had such a consistent season. Just a little thing like that might get Airdrie going again. And they've got a corner from it. And a corner could mean a crisis. Because Hay comes forward. Andy Smith, tall and strong, is there. Stevie Cooper as well. Celtic have brought everyone back to within their own penalty area. Cooper. McKinley being told to get it away. He's done that. Only as far as Jack. That's out. And Celtic are within 20 minutes or so of ending this long, long wait. They're looking to do it with another substitution. Simon Donnelly is the player they want to take off when Les Mottram catches the eye of the fourth official. Donnelly momentarily forgets his own disappointment to wish good luck to Finn O'Donnell, who scored in the Scottish Cup final in 1991 when he was a Motherwell player. They won a thriller by 4-3, and Tom Boyd, who is in the Celtic defence, of course, today, went up and collected the trophy.
I think that's just a change, Mark, to give them an extra body in the midfield area now.
Till O'Donnell on. Boyle's cross. McAnally going for the same ball with Vata. McAnally and Vata attracted to the same ball, and it dropped for Cooper.
Well, that was ambitious. But certainly a way to make yourself a hero if it flies in the top corner.
And no one's taking anything for granted here. By Faulkner. I think it's fair to say, Andy, we can see why Celtic haven't scored too many goals this season. Airdrie looking for one, which will light up their eyes and ensure a continuation of the contest. It's still a Celtic swing, if you like, at the moment, towards a trophy for them. Headed forward by Vata. Only as far as Jack, down from Andy Smith. Lawrence lurking on the right-hand side. Cross comes Hay here. Pressure put on him by Faulkner.
It looks to me as if Tommy Burns and Billy Stark have decided that one's enough, Martin. Certainly that's the nature of the way they're playing, so if they get another one good and well, I think they'll take it. But they're certainly not going to take any risks. And I think they've decided that, well, we'll make it difficult for Airdrie to get one, and we'll take 1-0 if that's the way it's going to be.
Hey. Collins, they've kept him reasonably quiet.
I think they have all the talented, well, I'm not saying all the talented, but the Collins is the McStays who can win a game just by a sweep of their right and left foot, if you like, and McLaughlin, who's got great dribbling skills. They've kept those three in particular very quiet.
the hooks out. John Collins after this tangle here. Well, Collins was being obstructed.
He watches WWF, doesn't he, little John?
Taking everything into his own hands, including the law. Andy Smith. Lawrence, who stuck out a foot to win it back for Jack. Lawrence with the cross off the head of Mark McNally. Knocked out by O'Donnell. The Airdrie fans vastly outnumbered here, but trying to play their part. As Alec McDonald's team really dig deep here as they look for an equaliser. Black. Forcer passed through when he thought he might go for an early cross into the centre. Airdrie had the ball at the throw. Lawrence. Used to success, the Airdrie faithful. They're very proud of the players that have taken them this far, and there might yet be more for them as we move towards the final 15 minutes, if it's going to be decided in 90, which it will be unless Airdrie can score. Had gone offside if he'd made contact there, Willie Faulkner. Out goes McNally.
I think we're at the stage now where Jimmy Sanderson's got to abandon his sweeping role, Martin, if you like, and push in front of the two markers and just say there's no use me sweeping back here, and we've got to push forward and try to get a goal.
Well, he's striding for your picture there forward. McLaughlin coming back with him. Airdrie have a throw. Celtic just one player upfield. Just takes a little lucky ricochet, ball to fall in the box. Suddenly there could be a completely different complexion to this final. Airdrie pressing to try and make that happen with Lawrence. Smith going in. Andy Smith that was. From Black. Met well defensively by Collins. Grant trying to stride out with it. Stopped by Jack. Sanderson propping up on the right-hand side this time. Supported by Paul Jack. McStay getting in the way. What will encourage Celtic is that there have been very few goal-mouth incidents. They kept Airdrie at arm's length for the most part. They keep on doing that. All the understandable edginess today will be a different frame of mind next season. Back to home territory at Celtic Park, a magnificent new stand being completed. They haven't been happy at Hampden, but it could provide them with the setting for the silverware this afternoon. Bata. Straight at a pretty underemployed John Martin. Grant, suddenly a bit of space for him in midfield. His own strength carrying him forward. McLaughlin, Grant says, I'll have it back. McLaughlin again. Bit of keep ball from Celtic, but not for long. Lawrence going in. There were one or two late challenges from both camps then. And Airdrie thought it was their free kick. It's been given to Celtic. And Andy Smith, I would think, was probably the one penalised. Here's Collins. Looked up, Didn't look down in time. Nicely done by Boyd. This is Tosh McKinley. They've just got to break this barrier, Celtic feel, and then their lives generally might be easier. The stigma of 6 years without a trophy would be gone. Tommy Burns hoping to bring in 1 or 2 talented players during the summer recess. It'll be much easier to do that if there's a European place. Peter Grant, who doesn't give in easily to pain. And Celtic have made both their outfield substitutions. Now Pat Bonner has come right up into the halfway line, into the centre circle, to remonstrate, I think, with Paul McStay, his captain.
I'm not so sure what happened there. It was a solid enough tackle that went in against Peter Grant, of the sort that he puts about himself. As the ball's played up, just tries to turn. In comes the tackle. Yeah, didn't seem an awful lot there, did there? They obviously caught him awkwardly, Kenny Black.
And of course, you are talking about a player who's somehow patched up a knee problem to play today and play well. Don't forget, we don't finish today. The Umbro International Cup, 6 internationals spread over 2 weekends and 2 midweek fixtures as well. And in July, 26 games from the Copa America. It's a splendid tournament with all the major South American nations taking part. Their equivalent of the European Championship finals in that part of their continent. Okay to hook it forward.
Airdrie found it really difficult this half to cause Celtic the problems they did in the first half. And that's been the case. Celtic, again, haven't played well second half. They're doing enough. They're doing just what it takes to preserve the 1-0 lead. And Airdrie just haven't got another gear to go into.
Oh, hey, pirouetting. Trying a twist and turn that was difficult with the fatigue that he must be feeling, both emotional and physical. We're into the final 10 minutes, and Alec MacDonald is going to take off Graham Hay and bring on Jimmy McIntyre. Had a short spell in English football with Bristol City. He's also on loan at Exeter for a while. Boyd puts it out of play. Airdrie in a rush.
Well, it's a case of get it back in play for Airdrie, put it in the box, and just see if anything drops for them.
Well, it's another situation here that will fuel some optimism for Airdrie. More Airdrie appeals. Possibly, Andy, for handball as it bounced up.
I think that's where they were. I think it was in more in hope than belief.
It's Black going in. Brought out by Boyd. Boyd again. Faulkner. Well, there's a ball on to O'Donnell on the right. They've gone left to McLaughlin. And it's steered back by Black via his body, which means Martin can pick it up. 2 up for Airdrie. Cooper glances it on. Now Lawrence has got in behind here. Grant gets back. And in another tackling situation where there was no margin for error, Peter Grant did enough. Peter mistimed that. Airdrie would certainly have got a penalty, but Grant has hurt himself in the effort.
Well, that was really good defending. When you're looking for your defensive midfield player to be aware of any mistakes, Tom Boyd got caught underneath the ball upfield, and Grant just tucked back into his spot. And it was so important that he did so, because Lawrence was through. And how important and how well timed that tackle turned out to be for Celtic.
Airdrie got the right man in too, they would have felt. But Celtic had the right man back. All part of a terrific all-round performance by Peter Grant. And the player who so nearly didn't make it for this match has been voted by the sponsors as the man of the match.
He's had a good day. It's not been a Celtic performance, it's been littered with great performances. But he's been, I wouldn't argue with that decision, he's been the pick of the bunch in green and white today.
A bit premature with 5 minutes to go and the possibility of the goal to take it into extra time.
They look more confident with 5 minutes to go in this half than they did, I would suggest, with 5 minutes to go in the first half, when Airdrie really were asking some serious questions. But cup finals have twisted before in the last few minutes, and this one may well twist.
Airdrie, the defenders angry with Faulkner, who just knocked the ball further away to delay the taking of the free kick. Well, we've talked about it as a threat, Andy, but maybe it's going to be a threat that hasn't really ever materialised.
No, it hasn't. And I don't think that's anything to do with the guys up front. I do think the service into them hasn't been of sufficient enough quality to really A, give them something to go on, and B, give Celtic something to worry about. And I think they're just about realising now, you can see that, the supporters, that long wait in 2 or 3 minutes is going to be over.
Presentation to be made by Her Royal Highness the Duchess of Kent, who is such a great supporter of sport. A royal presence at the Scottish Cup final for the first time since the early 70s. Out by Grant, who's limping, and Celtic, for many reasons, wouldn't want to go into extra time here. But Grant's discomfort is certainly on that list of reasons. Time is running out for Alec MacDonald and for Airdrieonians. It's a goal kick. Again, they attacked it en masse.
I think that's a problem I've had. They've never really had a good spread across either. When the balls are in, if one person's going for it, then all 3 or 4 of the tall lads are in there at the same time.
But after all they've been through, Celtic, I'm sure Tom Boyd, as a senior figure out at the back, will be urging discipline and restraint and care and caution right through to the final whistle here. Pierre Van Hooijdonk, who didn't even finish the first half, is very close now to being the player whose goal has won the Tennant Scottish Cup here at Hampden. In goes McLaughlin. Faulkner, good stop by Martin. It's a good try, really, as the ball dropped for Willie Faulkner. Not an easy angle.
No, it was well driven, well controlled. But the goalkeeper stood his ground very well. Oh, was struggling to get the clearance, and when it dropped, he hits it on the half volley really crisply. Good goalkeeping.
They're pretty short-handed in the centre, Celtic. As you'd expect at this stage, Faulkner still trying to make something happen. Celtic have kept their entire back four back in place. Airdrie had three up. McIntyre. Batter gets it only as far as Andy Smith looking left for Jim McIntyre. The 90th minute. Tommy Burns, so close. Billy Stark looks at his watch. He's a very honourable, decent man, Tommy Burns. He's had to deal with some sticky situations in management already. He's a fine player, part of successful Celtic sides in the Scottish Cup in the past. There'll be plenty who'll be proud for him if his team see it through here. It's not been the prettiest of successes, no one would pretend that. But all that mattered really for Celtic today was to win. Success was the one word that mattered, yeah. I couldn't agree more. If you're in a cup final, Mark, you play a cup final to win it. Hasn't been a great performance, Tommy Burns will admit that. But his team are doing what he would have wanted. And that's winning a long-awaited piece of silverware. Black. Where there's life, there's hope, and the final whistle hasn't killed off Airdrie yet, but it's McStay on the ball for Celtic. And
they want to just keep it if they can.
McLaughlin maybe hasn't been in the game long enough to really be aware of that, but at least they had to chase him into the corner, and it's a throw, not a corner, despite the fact that McLaughlin has placed the ball thinking it was a kick. McStay. Not a corner this time either. It's a long way for Airdrie to get it forward. Les Mottram looks at his watch. 6 years when Rangers have been rampant, during which time Celtic have been suffering in comparison. Jack. John Martin steers it forward. Comes off Collins' head. Someone's lost a boot down there. It's Steve Cooper. It's a throw to Airdrie. We're in the 3rd minute of time added on. Could there be a real shot for Celtic here? It's a corner. As soon as Les Mottram pointed, Kenny Black raced across to take the corner. And what a story this would be if Airdrie equalised now. Goal kick to huge Celtic cheers. They tried to play the pressure game, the power game, Airdrie, but Celtic have refused to be overpowered. The whistle is in the mouth. Airdrie, hearts in the mouth, really, for all their fans. It's so nearly over for them. But for Celtic, What celebrations, surely only seconds away. The wait is over. There will be a new kind of Burns night in Glasgow tonight. Tommy Burns, at the end of his first season in charge of Celtic. They have a trophy, and Paul McStay, after 5 years as captain, and the club, after a 6-year absence, are back on the winners' rostrum again. Pierre van Hooijdonk with the goal so early in this final. Who'd have thought it would settle it, but settle it has done. Celtic's self-esteem has taken such a battering in recent years, but there are smiles now. And Airdrie, who've made such a habit of deflating and defeating the big boys, couldn't do it today. Let's join Davy Provan down on the touchline. Davy.
Tommy, your first trophy as Celtic manager, the club's first in 6 years. Just how sweet is this moment for you?
Well, to be perfectly honest, I was very, very disappointed in the performance. Very disappointed in that, because I thought we could have went and put on a good show today. But to be fair to the guys, they were under a lot of pressure. Scored a very good goal. Possibly should maybe have scored another goal in the first half. But at the end of the day, I'm just happy for the people that support the club, because they've supported us unbelievably well. And I appreciate so much their prayers for us, their good wishes. And now we'll get something that can go and have a good night out, and I love every one of them.
1-0 is never a comfortable lead in any match. How anxious were you as the moment ticked away in the second half?
Well, I've got to be honest, David, I spent the second half praying to God, because I just couldn't, I don't think I could have lived if Airdrie had beat us today.
And that takes you into the European Cup Winners' Cup. You obviously feel you'll have to strengthen the squad for next season?
Yeah, no, it wouldn't have mattered what happened today, David. We know, we've watched the guys for a year, and we know what we need for our team.
Enjoy tonight, Tommy. Thanks.
Well, that was interesting, Andy. Tommy Burns, like a true football man, not happy with the performance, even on such a happy day in terms of the result.
Yeah, he summed it up the way I felt as well, Martin. Not a great performance, but hey, look at those scenes. Do you think those lads honestly care that they haven't put in a vintage performance? They don't. What they've done beforehand has earned them the right to not to play too well today and get a victory. This just might be the biggest cup win Celtic have had in recent years. I'm talking about where they go from here. Had they lost today, well, who knows where Celtic would have gone. And even people like Charlie Nicholas, who wasn't involved at the forefront today, enjoying the celebrations. And he's a man who enjoyed many cup wins with Celtic through the years. It's a big, big victory for Celtic.
Yes, there's an explosion of joy amongst the fans and the players. Mingle, one suspects, with a fair amount of relief as well, to confirm they will play in Europe next season in the Cup Winners' Cup. And a happy ending at this temporary home to a season which has been fraught with difficulties, but ends with fresh hope for the future. Peter Grant, the man of the match, who played with rare authority in a game where it was very hard, Andy, to pick out individual performances.
It wasn't a game you could pick out individuals, and he was the only one who stood out. And for various reasons, for his commitment, for his calmness, if you like, around when all were...
Calmness during the game, but look at this now.
I mean, and this is a guy who's won things with this club and has spent, what, 10 years or so at Parkhead?
Well, a Celtic fan as well as a Celtic footballer, and in tears of joy here. Her Royal Highness, the Duchess of Kent, who was graced today here at Hampden with her presence. And I'm sure will have had a very astute appreciation of what's been going on with the mementos to the losers, and they're kissing Her Royal Highness to the last. But Airdrie have plenty to be proud of. It's their first cup defeat, if you like, without the penalty shootout all season long. And it was a narrow one.
I think Airdrie probably played as well as they could. Lacked a little in the last third, just that finishing edge, that cutting edge. Created plenty, good ball. But I think just the gap between fourth in Division 1 and fourth in the Premier, I think just showed today in the most important area. We saw a lovely finish from Pierre van Hooijdonk, a super goal. A goal worthy of winning a cup final, in all honesty, Mark, because it was a super cross and a fantastic header.
Well, it was 1-0 at Wembley with a header from Paul Rideout. And another header to win a cup here in Scotland today. That sums it all up. And off they go. Paul McStay must have wondered whether this would ever happen. But he's ready for it. The captain, who never lifted a trophy, well, he's about to lift one now. Green and white, the predominant colour at Hampden Park once more. Celtic are winners again. The Tennent's Scottish Cup is theirs. And some of that old glory is restored at last. They've won it for the 30th time, extending that very proud record in this competition. But that's a minor statistic. It's winning after these lean years. That's what it's all about today. And this will be some lap of honour, you feel. Tom Boyd, who kept it secure at the back. Mark McNally, who will be proud of the defensive shutout, pulled into the side late on. Rudy Batter, the Albanian. News of that, I'm sure, will already be reaching his native shores. Simon Donnelly, Brian McLaughlin. Sweet for Peter Grant and Pierre van Hooijdonk, who's only been here a matter of months and made such an impact. The giant Dutchman. And the foreign influence, a significant factor on the way this final was won. The third winner's medal for Paki Bonner. I'm not sure he can carry everything. Well, he's a goalkeeper. He should have strong arms and good hands. The weight is heavy, but it's been worth the weight. Not in the performance. Tommy Burns very honest and open about that. But certainly, Celtic came here feeling they had to win today. Goodness knows what it would have done to their morale had they not done so. And they had to live with all of us saying all of that in the build-up to this final. Favourites they certainly were, but favourites under a strange sort of pressure. Well, they'd cope with that. They'd cope with all that Airdrie could throw at them. And they've won the Scottish Cup. And Peter Grant still overcome with emotion.
Good moments, great moments in a footballer's life, Mark. It's hard to put into words. People are watching how these lads feel and what they've gone through to get their hands on that. But they're special moments, and they deserve to enjoy them.
Well, Tommy Burns played 6 years ago, the last trophy that Celtic won. Who'd have thought that day that we'd have to wait until 1995 for scenes like this to happen again?
It shows you it's a long time, Mark, since they've won it. But look at the way they're sprinting around in this lap of honour. If I could give them any advice, it would be take your time, lads. And that's better. Take your time, walk round, savour it, enjoy it, milk it and remember it.
Well, it's almost been a curse, and that curse has been lifted here. boundless for the fans as well. It's not been easy in Glasgow being a Celtic fan with what's been happening at Ibrox. But they've got something to point out in the summer months. Now they're moving at the pace that you've suggested, Andy. And it's been a fierce physical final. Let's emphasise that. Every ball competed for. Nothing won cheaply here today. Sometimes you can come into a final and if you're lucky you dominate and put on a show, but those games don't happen very often. As we emphasise so often, success is all that mattered for Celtic, and for Tommy Burns in particular, the manager that Celtic have had to pay out to acquire. That's been confirmed this week. It's cost them £300,000 with his assistant Billy Stark. Well, Fergus McCann, a money man, will, I think at this moment, be feeling that's been money well invested. Well, that's the thoughts from us, Richard, up here at Hampden. We're watching Celtic go round in such happiness now. The thoughts of you and your guests, back to you in the studio.
Martin, thank you. Big thanks as well, of course, to Andy Gray, Sandy Clark and Paul Elliott back here in London watching these pictures, Paul. And I think you are especially delighted for Tommy Burns, aren't you?
Yeah, very much so. When I was there, Richard, he was a good man, honest, he's got an impeccable character. And also the supporters, I mean, they're the ones that's really suffered, Richard, over recent years, and obviously their loyalty has certainly been rewarded by winning the cup for them. As we know, it wasn't a classic by any means, but they played a lot better than that against Raith Rovers and got beat. So when all is said and done, you know, they deserve to win it on merit, and no doubt, you know, it's good for Glasgow now. I mean, at least now the Scottish game now hopefully can take off a bit now with, you know, Rangers and Celtic in the forefront again, and certainly, as Tommy rightly said, they've got to improve significantly to make any impact in Europe in the Cup Winners' Cup. And no doubt they've got much needed funds there to boost it and obviously to finish off the stadium as well.
You can see what it means to people like Charlie Nicholas, who was very much on the fringe today, but a Celtic fan at heart and absolutely delighted, wasn't he, in the celebration?
Exactly. I mean, it was a collective thing, isn't it? You could see all the looks on each other's faces, but I think it was just a sheer relief at the end of the game, wasn't it? You know, you could see, as if to say, that weight, the magnitude of the problems and the pressures they've had over recent years, and you know, it's going to be something which they all should savour. Let's hope it's the start of big things to come.
Sandy Clark, you backed your boys positively. They did you proud, but you wouldn't deny Celtic this moment, would you?
No, not at all. I think when you see Tommy Burns there and Peter Grant was out, and Charlie Nicholas, Pat Bonner, Paul McStay, lads who have suffered and suffered badly for a few years, that's magnificent for them. They really do deserve that, and it's great for them. That's the guys standing the terrace, and they don't care. They don't care if it was 1-0 in a bad game, whatever it was. Celtic are the cup winners tonight. They're down to town tonight, and they'll have a few beers, and they won't be able to get a lot of stick for once in a long, long time. So they'll have a good night, and good on them.
I'm saying I might fly back up with Sennings, meet him in Victoria's later, Richard. The way I feel at the moment.
Have you still got a free pass for it?
Yeah, no, I've got a life membership there.
You spent enough while you were there, did you?
I think it's worth remembering that although it wasn't a great game, Celtic defended really, really well. You know, they denied Airdrie. Airdrie tried to play the long ball game in the box, and I was a bit worried about Mark McAnally and Tom Boyd in the middle of defence against Cooper, but they handled him really well, and never, Paddy Bonner probably one of his easier days.
Yes, Glasgow is green tonight, is it not? 30,000 plus at Hampden today. And the celebrations have only just started. How long will they last, Paul?
I think to the start of next season, I think I'll be quite honest with you. I mean, if there's one thing they do well in Glasgow, which they do know how to enjoy themselves. And, you know, I'm sure they're going to maximise that to the full. No, but it's great for me to witness that as well, because I've got so much affection for the club. And, you know, all the supporters, as I said, I can't emphasise their loyalty anymore, Richard, because they have suffered in a very, very big way. And, you know, Fergus McCann, you know, coming and took over the club. And, you know, there's been criticisms, there's been problems with him and Tommy, but hopefully now, after seeing that, you know, he's going to feel great about the whole thing, and obviously they can unite again and really plan a good strategy over the next 5 to 7 years to take the club really forward again. That's important, the long term, future of the club, which has obviously been in doubt for so long.
I think that was Tommy and Miss Burns, Tony Mowbray there, who of course has had his personal problems this season. They'll be delighted with that for them. Paul McStay.
Yeah, the King they call him. He's been a great Celtic player, probably for the best part of 10 years. And certainly there's no doubt in my mind he's going to go down, you know, as one of the finest players in their history.
And with the contract up again, this will, I would have thought, ease negotiations?
Yeah, that should solidify things, shouldn't it? I mean, you could hear, you know, the supporters' reaction. I mean, they were chanting his name. And obviously that emphasises the level of respect and feeling they have for him, and no doubt admire his loyalty to the club as well, which has been very, very important.
There's certainly a tremendous weight off Paul's shoulders.
Oh, yeah.
He's carried the club for a long, long time now, and he's been the brunt of a lot of criticism, mainly because he's a captain and so much expected of him. And he's handled it exceptionally well. A true test of character for the lad, and he's come through it. And for him especially, absolutely different class, lifting that cup today. He'll be a happy man tonight and very proud.
What about Paddy Bonner there, who had to lift the cup and its base, and that base is heavy. 12 months back, this was the impossible dream, wasn't it? But,
yeah, it was. And
it's come true.
Exactly, and at one stage, obviously, under Lou Macari, which they were prepared to let him go. They gave him a free transfer, and it's ironic that Tommy Burns was at Kilmarnock at the time, coming for him, and they both ended up to, you know, here today. And no doubt Paddy has repaid that loyalty and faith.
I think it was Tommy and Son, wasn't it, who did the disservice too, but everybody wants to touch that cup now. They might just set it off, and let everybody actually do that. Yeah. Ah. It's a family night tonight.
I think unless you know, you maybe come from Glasgow, you don't really realise the pressure and the rivalry between Rangers and Celtic. And as Tommy said, in the second half, it was praying to God that, you know, they wouldn't lose, and that's how much it means to him as a person. And you know, I think we need to all try that and hopefully get a result in the cup next year.
And also to the ramifications had they got beat. I mean, you could see the clear relief. I mean, Tommy was aware that, I'm sure that his place would have been under serious consideration as well, his future at the club as well, because if they would have lost, you know, against Raith Rovers and obviously now against Airdrie, had that been the case, you know, it would have really been a massive blow affecting the club, and thankfully that's not the case. I mean, look at that support. I mean, that's
fabulous
fantastic.
show of support, isn't it?
I mean, believe me, those that know about Celtic, they are a fantastic club with great supporters. And I mean, they could fill any stadium 2 or 3 times over, the level of support that they've got there. And all these supporters, you know, for many years they've been sort of suffering, and I think the difference between them and a lot of other clubs is the loyalty they've showed to the club. That's been very, very important when a lesser supported club, I think, could have turned against them. And they've got a calmness about them, they've got a sincerity, a genuine sincerity the supportors have, and that's what makes them very special. That's lovely.
I don't know where Tommy keeps getting these youngsters from. There's an inexhaustible supply, isn't there, it seems? No one's letting them go.
It's like as if they've won it for the first time, isn't it?
Well, it must feel like that.
Yeah.
It must feel like that, without any disrespect to them. It's been such a while, hasn't it?
Yeah. As Andy Gray said, milk it, make the best of it. They've suffered, and let them now enjoy it. There'll be a few Rangers supporters switch their television off now.
Throwing bricks at them, I think. Yep. No, I think part of them will be sort of, I think they'll respect that, because I think the most neutral man will recognise how important it is for them to move on.
Let's go and grab a quick word with gentlemen who enjoyed the celebrations. Charlie Nicholas with David Livingston.
Charlie, you've been through the good times with Celtic. Is this the start of them again?
Well, we hope so, David. I don't think we played particularly well today, but at the same time, it's all about winning for us. It's about getting success, and we've managed to get it today. We're going to feel the habit of these supporters being happy again. Once you get it once, you want it all the time. And a lot of younger players will find that today.
I noticed that you went onto the pitch, despite your own disappointment not being involved playing. You hugged every one of the players. What was the emotion like out there?
Well, I'm at the stage of my career that I accept that I'm not going to be playing a lot. So that's just normal for me, but it hurts for others like Andy Walker and people like that who are missed out today. But we're all in it together. Tommy's a very special guy and a very special manager, and he's brought us together. And it's all about these people today. The players will enjoy it, but it's all about these people here, and that's happiness.
Have a good night, Charlie. Well done.
David, we will. Thank you.
Yes, that's assured, isn't it? They will have a good night. And they won't let them go home either. That's an important point he makes, actually, Sandy, isn't it? That once you've won it, the pressure's off, and then you want more. It tends to go in cycles, doesn't it?
Well, that's right. That's the ambition of footballers and football clubs and supporters, especially in Glasgow. You have it in Liverpool, you have it in London as well, but the demand that you get better and better, and you know, you can't afford to take a step back. You've got to keep aiming forward all the time and trying to improve all the time. Well, it's a transfer market now to buy some more players, and they've got to keep progressing, keep pushing on, and the Celtic supporters will demand that now.
I think they've spotted Andy Gray, have they? Well done, Celtic. Of course, commiserations to Airdrie. But the Scottish Cup is Celtic's. We're not finished yet. Plenty more from us when we come back.
Capacity crowd.